Well, no, we can do this tonight.
So
it's definitely going to be Tuesday
hi
through
guys,
Saturday.
we're live on my side here, and Jason is getting fired up again.
It's Tuesday through Saturday is great. Sunday, Monday, I just got to go to bed early on those nights, I think is what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
That'll be fine. All right, so we're going live on Facebook too.
Yeah.
Right here on this crazy, awesome day. Oh, what does that mean? What do you think here? Don't you hate it when you see something different on a screen than what you're used to seeing?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. And we are live here on Facebook. Hello, everybody. Once again, welcome to Common Sense News Entertainment and our joint venture with Yankee T News here on this Friday night, May the 22nd. And we're going to turn around and say hi to Court Rotnowski right now as we get ready to talk shop, man.
Okay, well, while there are many things to go over, I think I'll kick it off this way. I mean, I have queued up here two things. One is...
Cue it up.
What?
I said cue it up, man.
Yeah, well, one is about I call today's list of the ridiculous. Okay, so
that's a long list.
See in the news, and in one way or another,
growing list of
crazy stuff. All right, that's one. But even crazier than that, oh my goodness, who knew? Have you ever heard of deuterium?
Deuterium.
Yes, deuterium.
Well, you know, I gotta start pleading the fifth on these wild words names you keep throwing at me.
All right. Well, deuterium. So you know what isotopes are?
Yes, I know what isotopes are.
Okay. So hydrogen, at least in normal parlance, has 3 isotopes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what defines an isotope in this case is the presence or absence of nothing more than
oxygen?
Nope. A neutron.
Okay.
We're down at the subatomic level here. A neutron. Okay, so in the case of hydrogen, I guess I've started this way. I'm going to have to put this up there. All right, so here we go.
Oh, here we go. Back in college.
All right. Now, so they're all hydrogen, okay, but there are slight variations according to the number of neutrons. So the first one, hydrogen 1, if you will, has no neutron. So it's just the proton and the electron. That's it. Next, somehow you slip a little neutron in there because neutrons and protons like to hang out together. It's a curious thing.
Yep.
And then if you have 2 neutrons and 1 proton, now you have 3 little cuties in the center, making it be called tritium. So tritium is radioactive, it's unstable, and it will break down eventually to deuterium.
Yeah, okay.
Or protium. However, deuterium, believe it or not, is naturally occurring. So in the early days of making the atomic bomb, one of the things that we needed was called heavy water.
Right.
Heavy water was another name for, quote, deuterium-rich water. Now, I don't know how rich. I would have to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out that in nature, in water, there is a certain amount of naturally occurring deuterium. It works out to 150 parts per million. So seems low, but here's the news. Deuterium is not your friend.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
No. Okay, so if we just take for the moment the idea that the water, so you know that most of your body is water, right?
Yes, I do know that. About 78% is what I hear.
So
it's crazy, but
that 78% is going to have 150 parts per million of deuterium in it.
Okay.
Okay. So just to be clear here, so 150 parts per million.
If that's natural, that's okay.
That's going to be like 0.001% concentration of deuterium.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, it's 3
zeros. Oh, it's more than that. 0.001%.
Right. Okay. All right, but let's say we raise it up to 10%. So we go from 0.0001 to 0.1, which is a dramatic increase.
Yeah.
You will be sick.
You'll die probably.
50%. If 50% of the water has deuterium, yeah, you'll die. That's toxic. I never heard of this. This blew my mind. The idea that the mere presence of a neutron is going to kill you if it's insufficient.
Well, it makes the water radioactive in a sense.
Let's see. I'm going to call it. I'm not sure, but you need heavy water for absorbing neutrons, I believe.
So how does this affect us? How is this hurting us? Like, what's the threat here?
Well, there's the reverse. There is a market out there for people. I mean, how should I say this? Elevated levels of deuterium in your body are shown to be deleterious to your health.
Okay.
And the list is long. So, in other words, this is the kind of thing that pretty much affects everything in the body.
But are you suggesting our water has too much deuterium in it? I mean, how are we ingesting too much deuterium?
Okay, how that happens is still a mystery to me. So the background, what got me turned on to all of this is a guy named Dr. Jack Kruse, Kruse. Have you ever heard of him?
Yes.
You have?
I've heard of. I don't know who he is. I've heard of his name though.
Yeah, so he's a neurosurgeon, but he's one of these guys.
I think you make up these names, but I know you don't.
Yeah, no, he's real. He's real.
Okay, I'm kidding.
So he, so deep into science, deep into biology, and I mean, just to paint the picture, what kind of got him started. So get this. Do you know when MK Ultra started?
You got to just tell me these things. I feel like a fool.
Okay. Well,
I don't know all these.
You know what MK Ultra is, right?
Huh?
You know what MK Ultra is?
No, I have no idea what MK Ultra is. I don't have the slightest idea what it is.
Wow. Okay. Well, so just to update you then. So, I mean, when you dip into the conspiracy community, you're going to quickly find out that one of the big topics was a secret CIA program called MK Ultra.
Okay.
It was basically a mind control program.
Interesting.
And the CIA was using all kinds of things: electric torture, drugs, hypnosis, anything to see if they could alter the behavior and control individuals the way they wanted.
See, this dovetails to the stuff I was telling you about a couple months ago. This woman Heidi that used to be on one of the court TV stations, that she claims that they're tweaking with her health with using military technology. And
yeah,
I got to send you she sends me a ton of text messages. I'm gonna have to forward them over to you and get your opinion on them.
Yeah, right. So MK Ultra, this shortly after the CIA was formed, you had people asking the question, how can we control the minds of people? This was important to them.
Scary. Sounds like a Star Trek episode.
Yeah, I'm sure. So hence was born MK Ultra.
Okay.
Now, so like any good government agency, they generate paper and lots of it. So the strange thing here is that eventually the evils of MK Ultra came to light with the public. You had Congress get involved, and the CIA decided to destroy all its records on MK Ultra. However, they didn't quite succeed. Okay.
No, because you can't reverse engineer anything like that.
Well, I don't know about reverse engineering. The point is they if you generate so many records, you know what? You're going to miss a few, and miss a few they did. So the backstory to this is that MK Ultra was being managed, if you will, through several universities, one of which was Tulane University down in Louisiana. And it turns out that there was a room full of boxes of the MK Ultra program, which had been forgotten about, buried in a storage room at Tulane University. So Dr. Kruse at the time was a young intern learning to be a neurosurgeon. He had taken a special interest in the subject of bone what do we want to say? Bone healing, bone regeneration,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow when he
This is
started
real.
asking around about any kind of research the government had done related to bone regeneration, he got led to this room with all these boxes labeled MK Ultra, and that's how his life story basically started.
Hmm.
And so this has been part of this journey that he's gone on, in some sense, making him a conspiracy theorist in the eyes of some. But everything he talks about is factual.
Mm-hmm.
Everything had a program, had a principal investigator. It had people involved. There were results.
If you can control somebody's mind, you can control all aspects of their body as well, their health care, their whatever.
Well, that's the idea.
That's the idea.
But,
so this leads me to my theory of Newtown, what happened in Newtown, the tragic killings of the children in Newtown in 2012.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I believe my theory on that is a sinister one. But I believe forces that want to get rid of the Second Amendment, one of the biggest incentives of getting rid of the Second Amendment is to have shootings.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have shootings, you scare people and you tell them, you make people fearful of guns, and you sway the political spectrum in your favor if you want to ban guns. One of the best way to control the population, as you and I know, is to take away the population's weaponry.
Yeah, well, how well
disarm
is that?
the population, right? So my theory is that the CIA used their hypnotic and mind control technology. Maybe it was this agent thing you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
to take this kid Adam Levine, whatever his name was, Adam something was his name, Adam, crazy guy, young guy, impressionable guy, dope him up, put him through mind control, wind him up, and turn him loose outside the school, and there you go.
Right. Well, that would be one version. Another version is that he was already a troubled young man, and he was put on all kinds of psychiatric drugs in order to control his behavior.
It could be both.
Yeah. Well, you take
whatever they did to him. Whatever they did to him. That
mm-hmm.
The description of that incident was, and I think that a lot of these mass shootings, I think now the situation is so bad now it's become politically motivated. But if you look at it really started with Columbine in 2006 in Colorado with the school shooting in 2006?
Yeah, Colorado, yes.
Yeah, and then since then we have a growing number of these mass shootings in the United States we didn't really have before that.
Right. Well, if you were to talk to Sheila Matthews, she's going to explain to you that the rise of the abuse of medication for children paralleled the rise of these mass shootings.
That doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
And 90% of these mass shootings do occur with the shooter is usually under 21.
Yep, that's right.
And
yeah,
I think that it's politically. I think that's also politically motivated.
Right. Well, it gets confusing, right? Because on the one hand, you have the press trying to make things fit their template, even when they don't, right? And so then you're left with information that points you in one direction. They're trying to distract you from it. Yeah, and it's it's hard to get a clear fix on this. So I mean, I think by now we should have enough information that says yes, these are people. Now, were they made troubled in the first place through an MK Ultra type program? I guess we'll never know.
I think what you have is in some cases, some of these shootings are just a result of what you're saying of the culture of abuse of drugs in kids and mental health crisis as a result. And then others, like I think in Newtown in particular, and some of the others are literally staged and set up by far left-wing pundits that want to see the Second Amendment go away.
We talked a little bit about crisis actors. It's interesting. I've met several people from Newtown, and they just seem to be very uncomfortable with the idea that this is in any way staged. They uniformly describe it as
not staged, but just first of all, an incident like Newtown can't be staged. It's just a question of how it happened.
Well,
there's no staging whatsoever. Those kids are gone.
So let me just.
I guess it's a question of the motive that they don't want to know the truth about.
I'm going to give you an example. shortly after, in the heat of this crisis, okay, you had press all over the place in Newtown. And there was this one part where you saw this guy. His name was Sean Parker, or at least they put on the screen that his name was Sean Parker. I would say a young man in his late 30s, perhaps. It shows him standing around, yucking it up, telling jokes, and having a good old time with people in the press and others. All of a sudden, Sean gets the call. Sean, you're on.
Becomes this serious. Yeah. God.
Excuse me. You were just laughing with some people and now you're crying like this? This is bullshit.
What a phony.
Okay? That's a crisis actor.
Yeah. Yeah. That's disgusting.
Okay. All right. So that's the part where I said this is a big phony exercise.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, I go back to the point that people I've met who are from Newtown said, nope, nothing fake about it. It was all real, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, look.
I don't know.
Are you suggesting the possibility that never happened?
No. Who said it never happened?
Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean by real or not real, though?
Okay. Okay. Yes, I am going to go out on the limb and say the children were never killed.
You really believe that?
No one ever. No, there are no death certificates. Where they were buried has never been revealed. Okay. They could all put it under the heading of respect for privacy, but I'm sorry. This is of such profound significance. All right.
What about these parents? What about all these parents that are grieving? They're actors?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Okay, pretty much. And just to help you along here, there's this other parallel that comes up every so often where they say, with COVID, right? It was a month or so before the actual event that there was a simulation, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, a couple of weeks before it happened in Newtown, down the road in Bridgeport, there was a virtually identical simulation. Okay.
Well, I thought I had a wild conspiracy theory. Yours is even more up there.
I'm not okay. It may have been Deep Six, but there's evidence of the simulation. It was like a federal agency. I guess it was FEMA, somebody having a class, a training in the event of if this happened.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're not 20 miles down the road. In fact, it was Route 25 would take you straight from where they were in Bridgeport to Newtown.
Okay, but what about the physical building, this school where this happened, right?
Yeah, what about it? Which doesn't exist anymore.
Well, now it doesn't exist now, but it did then. And what about the weeks before this happened? There was no kids there. There was never a school there.
Well, you got to remember. All right.
There was. I mean, there was a school there, and there were kids going there.
Yeah. Okay.
That I know.
Yeah.
I happen to have family members that lived in Newtown, so.
Okay, so for my money,
how would they start from there?
Okay, so the game that was played, of course, was how dare you ask these questions? You horrible person! Who do you think you are? You're worse than a conspiracy theorist. Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you're putting all this emotional charge into something like this, when you're just asking questions, that certainly begins to make me suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just saying.
I just think whenever I hear a conspiracy theory, so especially one like this, I put myself in the shoes of the conspirator, and I say to myself, okay, I want to stage a bunch of kids getting killed in Newtown.
Yes,
I have to set the stage for that. I have to have I do have to have some names and a school and a
yes. Okay, understand that the idea of having crisis actors is not that unusual.
Crisis actors after the fact, though.
No, you can have civil emergency drills, right? And what the organizing body will do is they will hire crisis actors to pretend that there are people who are wounded, in trouble, need help, whatever, emotional distress,
lost their children.
Yeah, so you set up this, you try to make it as real as possible for the first responders. And so you use the crisis actors for that purpose.
Okay.
All right.
Don't you need dead bodies too?
No,
Well,
no.
what the first
You
responders
had
know
to
they're going to see
pretend
any
they're
bodies?
dead. Fine, just lie. They don't move. Okay. You can do all that. But the point is, there's an industry. There's an industry for crisis actors.
No, I get that, but what? Again, these children were supposedly shot and killed. So there's gonna be wounds. There's gonna be blood.
Yeah, funny how that
None of
was
these
never.
so all the first responders would have to be in on it.
Funny how none. Yeah, well, not all of
Some
them.
them
How
would
many
be.
responded?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, also there was this guy who came up from Florida who'd been a first responder for like 30 years. And he said, look, there are all kinds of irregularities in the procedures that you guys followed in this. I've done this for 30 years. I know what the procedures are supposed to be, and you didn't do them. I'd like some answers.
Maybe they didn't do them because they know they actually set this guy Adam loose, and they just don't want. They want to cover up the evidence.
Thank you. Okay. Anyway, here's the bridge. Okay, I've kept up this picture here of the hydrogen isotopes for a while.
Okay.
Dr. Cruz suggests
isotopes, man.
What?
Isotopes.
Isotopes.
Oh, you're not done with the topes yet.
They're isotopes. Okay. Dr. Cruz is suggesting that there are various circumstances under which the level of deuterium in your body can become elevated. If that happens, you can develop significant psychological problems.
Whoa.
Okay?
All right.
And so he refers to some people as being, quote, deuterated, because they have a higher than normal level of deuterium in their bodies.
Deuterated?
Yes.
You're ruining my dude thing. Hey, dude, how you doing? You're ruining the dude thing.
So one of the attributes of having too much deuterium in your body
is what?
Obesity.
Okay.
All right. Just for openers. Anyway, all this has led now to another
this wouldn't just come from the water we drink. It would come from anything that's made with water, I suppose, too, right?
All right. This is the part, though, where it begins to get a little strange, because what he's suggesting is that you can have changes in the environment that can lead to changes in the level of deuteration of water. Okay. Here we're now we're out kind of in space here. There is data that the Earth's magnetic field is changing. Did we have this discussion? How the North Pole's been wandering?
A little bit, but go ahead.
So the argument is that because the pole is starting to wander and you're seeing more of these anomalies in the Earth's magnetic field that all add up to the Earth's magnetic field weakening. With a weakening magnetic field, the levels of deuteration increase.
Okay.
All right. So that's one of his arguments.
Probably a slow process, though, I would think.
Yeah. Okay. But, well, it is a slow process. It builds up over time. Okay. So this raises another question in my mind, though. I mean, is deuterated water then excreted eventually like others, or does your body tend to accumulate deuterated water? And I don't have an answer to that. I would think that it goes out like everything else, but what do I know? Okay. So this is the thing that's being floated around by him and others, and we're going to probably hear more about this, that this thing called deuteration is a pretty bad health effect, and there seems to be a rising incidence of conditions associated with deuteration. But, of course, these are conditions that can have other causes besides deuteration. So it's hard to establish a direct connection.
One of the major ones is too much saturated fats in our gut. Our guts.
Too much. It's water. Remember, it's water related. But yeah, I hear you.
No, but it's one of the other things that contributes to a lot of our illness. I read a little thing about the gut and how things get caught up in the lower part of your intestines in your gut area, and that's one of them. And it leads to a whole bevy of the symptoms we hear about: obesity, fatigue, all the things that so many people suffer from.
Okay. Yeah, fatigue can come in different forms. I mean, there's constant fatigue, periodic fatigue. You can have get hit with fatigue and then it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it gets complicated.
I get little bouts with that for sure.
Yeah. So, but you don't look that fat, boy.
No, I don't have I'm not. There's no obesity.
Yeah.
But you know something? Listen, up until I was a bigger guy, up until as an adult, all the way up until 2021, I made as much as 260.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you told me that.
And I weighed 240 as generally speaking. In 2009, I went on an all raw diet for 16 hours a day, and I got down to 216 pounds, I think it was.
Okay.
But in 2021, I was 240 something, 248. And because of diabetes, and I still don't really know why, matter of fact, some doctors don't even seem to know why, I precipitously, that's a hard word to say, precipitously lost. I went from 240. I was like the shrinking man, like the incredible shrinking. I went down to 187, I believe. And I was getting smaller. And then I stopped at about 187. It all happened within 2 months.
Interesting.
Very quickly.
Well, that tells me there's some underlying condition that must have changed in your body then.
Yeah, so something changed dramatically. I started eating a lot of eggs and a lot of heavy protein foods to try to offset it. And what ended up happening is, I don't really know. I think I stabilized it, and now I weigh about 200 pounds. I brought it back to which is a healthy weight for my height.
Okay.
I'm only about 6 pounds above. My range is 180 to 187, and I weigh 200 basically. So.
All right. Okay, so though that's my bit, I'm sure there'll be more on this later. I find it to be an amazing subject.
We want to do we're definitely going to do an entire show once we get the network up and running good enough on MAGA. I'm in Maha, I mean.
Maha, oh yeah. That's a must.
That's a must.
Okay. All right. Today's list of the ridiculous.
Here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. It's the climax of the show. Let's get the drum roll here.
Okay. Fire your human resources department. Save your company.
Fire human resources department. Save company.
Yes. So here we have I've always referred to human resources as.
Is it the human resources that is ridiculous, or is it the firing them to save the company that's ridiculous?
No, just that. In my mind, that a human resources department even exists
is ridiculous.
I
would agree.
And
what if you have like 10,000 employees, though? What if you're like a place like Collins?
Okay, well, there's such a thing as record keeping, and that's the only function that a human resources department should really serve.
Personnel.
The thing is, everybody, when they have their own little fiefdom, they're always trying to get more turf, right? They're always trying to encroach on somebody else.
Right. Even department against department within a company, yeah.
Right. So, meantime, this is classic. Democrats kill women's museum.
Democrats kill women's museum. Okay.
In this case, the Democrats killed the women's museum because it's about women.
Really?
It's discriminatory.
Wow.
Okay. Now, another form of ridiculous right here from China. When prosecuting Christian pastors, make sure you don't create more Christians. Because that's what happened. His name
was what happened when they started prosecuting pastors under the Biden administration. Now we have
but no,
this was a 50% increase in Christians now over the last 5 years.
No, this was in China, right?
Oh, okay.
We know that China has declared war on the Christian church. They prohibit anything other than the state-approved version of Christianity, and this guy was having none of it. What's curious is that the Chinese Communist Party allowed this guy to have his flock openly meet and not be a part of the state religion because originally they were so small. He had 20 followers, but then it grew to 1,500. By that time, then they said, maybe we're going to have to deal with this. Too late, guys. That horse left the barn. Okay.
How many do you have now?
So, they didn't give a number, but it stands to reason that word would have spread that the state was after this guy.
Yeah.
So now some people are beginning to think, maybe Christianity is a good idea after all. Yeah. Okay. So there you go with that one. Next. Now, I got to tell, we're going to have this discussion. World War One all over again. So, do you know what the key enabler was for World War One?
Yeah, the shooting of the prince.
Well, that's
from Austria-Hungary.
That's what started it. But it's the fact that you had all these countries that had treaties with each other, promising to back each other up.
Right, a lot of alliance treaties. Right, it was a
So
powder
that's
keg.
how other countries got dragged into this and made it a world war.
Right.
Well, guess what? Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have a mutual defense agreement.
Okay.
That's setting the stage.
Why isn't so Pakistan should jump in and fight Iran then, if that's the case?
Well, they have attacked Iran sometimes.
Pakistan has attacked Iran?
Yeah.
In this war?
Just a few. You know, and I think Iran might have returned the favor, but no, let bygones be bygones. So here's the thing. Pakistan deploys major combat force to Saudi Arabia amid the Iran conflict. So Pakistan sending troops to Saudi Arabia.
Okay, good.
Let that sink in. All right.
It doesn't translate into another World War One, in my opinion, but
no, but it sets the stage.
Yeah,
right.
It's one thing. You know, are there a lot of other such alliances that we don't know about? Maybe.
So if Iran loses it, now they're suddenly bombing Saudi Arabia, they're going to hit Pakistani troops. And then the Pakistanis are going to say, what the hell are you doing? Our Pakistani troops there. Now we're going to declare war on Iran. And I need to remind you that Pakistan has nuclear weapons too. So you got Israel with nuclear weapons. You got Pakistan with nuclear weapons. The next thing you know, they're going to piss off India because they have nuclear weapons too. Iran is in a bad situation.
Yeah. Maybe India will nuke Iran for us.
You never know. Never know. All right. So I did talk about deuterium.
Yes.
Where we go? Wacky Wasserman. Wasserman Schultz. Does that name anything to you?
Yeah. I know she's a Democratic strategist witch, right?
Yep. And representative.
And she's trying to take over Florida.
So now she's trying to run in a district in which she's not a resident.
And they're letting her. I thought
this is typical. I mean,
Democrats can't they just take her off the ballot for that?
What?
Can't the opponent just take her off the ballot for that? I mean,
at some point somewhere, this is in Florida, you'd think DeSantis would say something. But anyway, it's just one more example of the insanity that we have to put up with respect to
the media won't cover.
Sorry?
These are things the mainstream media won't cover that we will here on CSNE and ET News.
Right. Well, I mean, where did this come from? World News Daily. Are you familiar with World News Daily?
Somewhat.
Okay, so there's let's just say in round numbers, okay, there are certain online news outlets that are fairly popular on both the left and the right. Okay, so you got things like Politico, you got The Hill, you got Axios. Those are examples of liberal online publications
that are popular with both.
They're popular in general. They have large audiences.
Okay, so now I'm familiar with all three of those that you mentioned. I don't follow any of them though.
Right.
So tell me this.
Yes.
What is their content like? Are they like Fox News or like CNN? If we have such a polarized country,
they're not.
Just have wackos enjoying it and MAGA people enjoying it together. I mean, what's the deal?
I wouldn't say enjoying it. It's just checking in on it. People who are reasonable will look at both sides. You get a story that comes in from the right, then you're going to check what the headlines are on the left. I think that's not being unreasonable.
Which is why I don't understand why when I talk to someone who's close to me who's leaning to the left and I say, look, just give Fox News 2 hours. That's all. Okay. And then we can talk. And they won't even want to do it. They won't even do it.
All right. So then you have PJ Media. You've got, the other American Greatness, American Thinker. You've got the Federalist.
Let me ask you this. Take Politico, for example. You say Politico is popular with maybe not far left or far right, but everyone who's reasonable, right?
No, I'd say
Sorry.
that Politico is going to appeal to left-wing types. Politico is not above putting out trashy headlines, okay?
On Trump and whatnot in particular. But then what about like when Trump does the story about, no tax on tips or no child left behind with $1,000 grants for the children? Is that something Politico would cover or would they ignore that?
If they cover it, it's going to be in a small story at the bottom.
Okay. So their audience is left wing, is what you're saying, but they have a large left wing audience.
Yes.
But do people like you or conservatives check in on it?
I will eventually. I will occasionally see articles that are sourced or referenced.
I guess what I'm getting at is, as far as I can tell, there is not one single news organization of any kind, whether it's mainstream or podcast or whatever, that I could point to at all that tells. We'll do both. We'll throw this, important stuff that's good for conservatives, and then throw these smear things in at the same time, and that are watched by everybody. There's nothing like that.
All right. There's an odd duck in the pond. Okay, the odd duck is freerepublic.com. Probably my favorite. Are you aware of Free Republic?
I'm aware of it. I don't follow it. I'm aware of it though. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a chat board, and people will put up individual stories. So here, let me see. I'm just going to rattle some stuff off. The War, American Anthem. So this is something on YouTube involving Ken Burns, right? Next thing, the Crunchy Moms, Reshaping the Republican Party. That's from Crisis Magazine. Then there's something for the Catholic Church from 1 Peter 5. And then this one, Ivanka Trump targeted for assassination by the IRGC. That's from the New York Post. Then you have Trump administration says visa holders seeking green cards. That's from NBC News via MSN, okay? And then you have something from X, something from the San Antonio Express News, another thing from New York Post, Daily Caller, Greek Reporter, a bunch from the Greek Reporter here.
What was the name of that act that you sent me an email about the other day from the one from 2011 that talked about how journalists can't lie on cable or on network TV? Or
what about that?
What was the name of that act? Do you remember off the top of your head?
Yeah, Smith-Munson Act.
Smith-Munson Act. I think we should talk more about that.
Yeah, there's a history around it. It certainly overlaps with all the stuff about fair use and the laws that we had enforced before the internet, where the standard was supposed to be equal time, and that's really given way to what we have today. So there's still people who will argue for equal time in some platforms, but
equal time is different.
Well,
than saying
I think you appreciate.
We have laws about truth in advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Why not laws about truth in newscasts?
Well, it's a fair question. I don't have a good answer to it.
That's different than saying truth. Equal time is different. That's when you're saying if you're going to have somebody on for 30 minutes here, you got to have somebody else the other side for 30 minutes. Which I don't agree with that. That's regulating free speech as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But to say, look, if you're going to have a license to operate over the air, talk to the public, and present yourself as a news organization, you have to be truthful about the news. And if you're saying something that you're not sure about, you should say it. And that's one of the themes that we're going to do here at CSNE. If we believe something is true, we're going to say we believe it's true, or we believe we can back it up. And if we don't know and we're just speculating, we're going to say that too.
Let's see here.
You'll know. It's kind of like we report, you decide, which is what Fox does. But
okay, the Smith-Mundt Act, not Munson.
Yeah, Smith-Mundt Act. Yeah, sir, that's the one.
Smith-Mundt.
It's on the subject the email you sent me, so I have it.
So it was repealed in 2012
under the crooked Barack Obama.
Yeah,
Manchurian candidate.
Okay, so this would be we would go through this and look at its history, see how we got to this point. That was, I'm going to have to do my research.
We'll do on the 60s. I think what happened was we started to see a problem with it in the 60s, and they passed the act.
Yeah,
to protect it protect us from that. And then Obama came in and was trying to dismantle the country, and that was one of his plans to take that act out, and he did.
Oh, it's been part of a whole long-term plan that I think is easy to recognize in hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
It's just consistent with everybody constantly pointing out that he had all these communist influences, so didn't have any respect for the Constitution. He had spoken out against the Constitution. You remember what he said?
I'm sure. Yeah, what did he say?
Basically, that the Constitution interferes with the government making progress. Dude, that's the whole point. Because governments become tyrannical. So,
right, government.
Constitution, you're interfering with the capacity for tyranny.
Exactly. What he calls government progress, we call government oppression.
You could say that, yes.
So he's admitting he's a tyrant when he says that, essentially.
Yeah.
Is that something he said publicly, or something somebody that he said?
No, that was said in public.
Wow.
In fact, I mean,
well, he actually he told he did make a speech once saying that I'm here to oversee the decline of America. I'm here to help you oversee the decline of the country. He actually said that in a speech.
Yeah, well, yeah. So there's been that same sort
he's telling us that. For his credit, he's just telling us outright what he's going to do.
Yeah.
What a man! I'll tell you. Well, listen.
Yes.
If you have anything else in your mind, let's talk about it now, because I think I do have to cut it a little bit short tonight.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Let me grab one.
I hope everybody does have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to use it to recuperate. I know there's going to be a parade down in Naugatuck on Monday morning, on Memorial Day parade, and a lot of us are going to be down there. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it down there or not, depending on how much work I can catch up on or not, and how much rest I can get, because I definitely need some of that.
Yeah. But, so you heard about how Ivanka Trump has been targeted by the IRGC.
Yeah, you mentioned that
assassination. Yeah.
Well, hopefully she's got good security detail around her.
Right.
She's in the president's family, so she should have Secret Service protection.
Yeah. Then we should have. And then what was it? Tulsi Gabbard resigning.
I did hear about that. That was a shocker too. But you know what? Yeah. Apparently, from my understanding is, I don't know. You know how these things go in geopolitics, but my understanding is that her husband has a very rare form of bone cancer, and it's extremely painful.
Right. That's what bone cancer is.
And it really is truly just a family affair for her. There's nothing
nefarious about it. Well, of course, but this is just it. This is another example of where the liberal media doesn't want to miss an opportunity.
Oh, I know.
And so they want to.
But with Pam Bondi, it turned out it wasn't true. She was a mole,
Yeah, you got that right.
So I don't know if that's the case. I don't think that's the case with Tulsi Gabbard. I see genuinity in her eyes when she talks.
Yeah. So the thing is, if you look back at her list of accomplishments, they're quite considerable. Mm-hmm. So I think of all the things she did, the part where she had found all those records concerning the setting up of the Russian hoax, collusion hoax, I think basically she brought the receipts for prosecution.
Yeah, I did. She has been a big patriot for sure out there. So hats off to her.
Yeah. So
hopefully your husband does better. I know that bone cancer is supposedly one of the most painful diseases you can get.
Yeah, and I do not think the prognosis is good. I mean, especially when they say rare, that means their ability to treat it is probably not very good.
No, that's probably why she wants to be with him.
Yeah. So our prayers are to her and her husband.
Yep, and hats off and salute to her too for her service.
Yeah.
Anyway. So anyway, anything else?
Well, I'll just carry on for a few more minutes.
Okay.
And we'll check in tomorrow.
We'll check in tomorrow. We'll be back on tomorrow right around 9 o'clock as usual.
Yeah. So I'm trying to decide about going to see Faithfully over in Waterbury for her fundraiser. She needs the help.
That's tomorrow. Is that tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow night. I mean tomorrow afternoon. It starts it's 5 to 8 tomorrow.
So I'll be working. I'm going to be working tomorrow all morning.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
All right. I don't know either.
I'd like to go to the Memorial Day thing on August. I'm still pretty much planning on doing that, but honestly, I have to play it by ear.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then as far as the conversation with the attorney, that's happening. He's under the weather for a couple of days.
Oh.
But we talked, and he's definitely wants to help, and we're going to talk Tuesday. So.
All right.
You know what I think everybody should do this weekend? Sit back, relax, take a deep breath, enjoy a movie with your loved ones, have a barbecue. Don't worry about things. Empty your mind a little bit. Just enjoy. Stop and smell the roses a little bit, because despite all the problems we're having, we still have a beautiful state, a beautiful parks to go to. We still live in reasonably free country. So enjoy yourself this weekend. And then you know what? For people in Connecticut, think about joining the movement when the weekend's over. Think about helping
Okay.
us.
All right.
Because
Want
one
to
of the
put it
reasons
that
that we're
way.
tired is because we work so hard and trying to help the state, and we need more people to get involved. So there
That's
you have
going to
it.
be
Make
our
my local
rallying cry.
sense.
Get involved.
Get involved. That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna check out. Court will take you this the way Yankee T
Okay.
News. I'm gonna
Good.
check out early. I'm calling in. I'm calling in for the night,
Yep. Okay.
and we will see you soon. So God
Yep.
bless Connecticut. God
All
bless
right.
America. Remember, the fight is
Yeah.
ours for the
Okay.
state and family. For Common Sense News Entertainment. Goodbye.
All right.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. All right.
Hang loose, Mother Goose.
Right. Now, so here I am. There's something here I want to dwell on. Let me think about this. This is so bad. Here, let's go up a notch. Nobody checked in tonight. That's all right. Hey, we're all busy. It's the weekend, you know. So, let me just review some of these things. If you have a human resources department that is going to destroy your company, that's pretty bad. It shows that not only that you, as the CEO, have lost control, but that you have people who see. Let's put it this way: normally, the rule should be this: if you're the person in charge, you have to hire people for whom your failure will be their failure, your demise will be their demise. So they have to be devoted to be making you successful if you're going to be successful. Here you have a human resource department that has no interest in making sure that the CEO and the company succeed. Instead, they are stuck on stupid, apparently, with woke policies and all those other good things. And they keep insisting on it long enough to keep dragging down the performance of the company to the point that they could go out of business. This is unbelievable, right? As my friend Dave would say. So, how many other companies around the country are in a similar condition? How many other companies would benefit by either eliminating their human resource department or scaling it back dramatically? Okay? Human resources, all you should be doing is paperwork. All you should be doing is keeping track of resumes and work histories and the like. Okay? Anything out of that area, that gets spread out to other people. That's just me. Okay. Next, Democrats kill Women's Museum. This is kind of like the transgender argument, allowing men to be in women's sports. It's the same tin ear, it's the same blindness, it's the same whatever. And you know what? I'm going to go back to the earlier thing. It will be interesting, ladies and gentlemen, to see that if, in fact, there is a correlation between deuterium levels in your body and your state of mind, this is going to get very interesting. So, in fact, I'm making a mental note to myself that I should do some research on that because there might already be some people looking at it. So that's deuterium and state of mind, or deuterium levels and state of mind. Yeah, that works. This whole deuterium thing that I learned about yesterday, I'm still trying to process this. And I just, we're going to be, and there are actually tests for deuterium levels in your body. They cost a couple $100, but I just have to ask about, well, how good are they really? Because think about what you're doing. You're trying to measure the presence of an isotope. We have technologies for that, but can you reduce technology for measuring isotopes to some home test? that you could buy in a drugstore? That's just a little odd to me. All right. And this thing now with prosecuting Christian pastors in China. I don't know. See, here's the fundamental issue. If you track the rise of Christianity in communist China, it's pretty significant. Okay. So I like to tell the story. In 1950, after the communists kicked out a lot of pastors and missionaries, they had 3% of the population was Christian. Okay, a large Buddhist population, some Taoists, some Confucians, although Confucianism isn't necessarily a religion. Okay, you have all that, and now we fast forward to today, and that population has grown. As the population of China has grown, the percentage of Christians has grown. And so now we're looking at something in the 10 to 15% range of the Chinese population being Christian. Still small, but here's the newsflash. If the Christian population of China approaches 20%, expect some very significant changes in the, quote, character of the Chinese culture, okay? And it's a funny thing because, when you look at, quote, ancient Chinese culture, things like harmony and luck, fate, the divine mandate of heaven are things that shape their worldview, and they don't necessarily fit well with the Christian view. So how that gets resolved, we'll see. But I think we can agree that there's a growing force that's pushing more and more Chinese towards Christianity, which I think is a good thing. All right. So then let's review again this stuff now with Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. Yeah. I need to look at, I've got to make another note here. UAE. So I'm drawing here UAE, draw a circle. One part Saudi Arabia, the other part Pakistan. We'll see if there's any connection there or not. We'll find out. But again, I express my concern here. You've got a severe disregard for history. If you cannot see how these treaties, these alliances between different countries set the stage for an increased sphere of conflict, you're going to have to get with it, because that's exactly what you're looking at. Okay, that's exactly what you're looking at. All right. Anyway, I think I've said my part here for tonight. And so we're going to be working on more things. I hope to have some real smasheroo items to present to you later. In the meantime, guys, it's called See You Later.